How powerful is Cox Fiber? Powerful enough to keep fans across the country in the action on the biggest game days of the year. Whether you're one of 65,000 fans at Allegiant Stadium or you're streaming the game at home with Cox Fiber from the company with America's fastest download speeds, whenever it matters most, Cox keeps you connected. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data. Fixed median download speeds. US Q3 2023.
I heartily endorse this event or product.
Hey kids, what time is it?
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Jeff Lutz.
Soak it in, boys and girls.
I know, so weird, but you know the heart wants what the heart wants.
And Jason Duda.
Soak it in.
Stop it! You people are supposed to be funny and wacky.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Showtime. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready? Ready.
Good afternoon and welcome. It is Bob and Jeff on KFH. It's a Friday. That means it's the last show of the week. Does not quite mean it's the last show of the month. That would be next, 2029, 30, 31. No, Wednesday. Wednesday will be the last show of the month, the 31st. February 1st is Tuesday, or Thursday. I went backwards there. Jason Duda is here with us today, having his coffee. That makes you feel like you're better than me, don't you?
No, just listening to you makes me feel like I'm better than you.
Oh,
You're
really?
doing math,
saw you.
Adding 26 to 5.
31.
Seems difficult.
Give me an addition problem real quick.
722 plus 4 is 38.
1160.
Not bad.
Right?
Not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Well done.
Thank you. I'm glad you didn't make me have to carry the one
Well,
anywhere.
I thought about it, and I thought, no, I'll give him an easy one.
That was kind of an easy one.
Ends in 0. Should be able to figure it out. You did good.
Bob not here today. We talked yesterday about the unfortunate theft of the Jackie Robinson statue over on 17th Street at the League 42 fields and facility. Does not sound like there has been much in the way of solution, a solving of that crime. Police are holding a press conference downtown at 4 o'clock, reportedly to offer a reward for the return of the statue, which I hope happens.
Well, I think everybody kind of does.
Yes.
I hope they...
But I hope it's still intact somewhere,
well,
right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, what else are you going to do with it? Like, I don't know, man. I hope they can get it back and can possibly fix it to the best that they can, but can you?
I don't know how
can
far.
You?
I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. The hope would be, again, yes. Yesterday I used the word irredeemable to describe the person, or it looks like people, obviously, that committed this crime. I will backtrack on that. I don't believe anybody's irredeemable in life. I think everybody can be redeemed and restored and renewed. So if we have a reach out there that anyone who knows anything, just, try to tell the people who did this, bring it back, take the punishment, and then try to be a better person from now on. Is that too much to ask?
I don't think so. I don't think that's too much to ask.
Good.
Just return it. Just return it.
Right. The best thing you can possibly do right now for yourself or yourselves is to return it.
Drop it off at 2 o'clock in the morning tonight. Drop it off. Right?
Yeah, we'll never know.
Just no one will ever know. It'll be done and over with. I mean, here's your chance.
Seems easy enough, right?
Well, you'd think it would be easy enough, wouldn't you?
But we are, calling out to people who did it in the first place. So who knows what their thinking could possibly be about anything.
I don't. No clue.
We have the surveillance video. I have not been able to stomach watching that in full. I saw the people go up to the statue, and that's about where I stop it. I do not want to see that thing come down. It makes me sick. So that's where I'm at.
I did watch I did watch it on the news last night, and it was just utterly disgusting.
I can imagine.
It was just disgusting. To do that is absolutely disgusting. How you look yourself in the mirror, whoever did that, good luck to you.
Well, these are people who most likely aren't living the greatest lives to begin with. So I don't know if they ever...
I don't know. Did you see that truck? That wasn't a cheap vehicle that they were driving to haul that thing away.
Understood. But if they're getting money in this kind of way, then who knows what they can afford. You know what I'm saying?
To some degree, yes.
Anyway, it's a futile conversation to even have.
It is.
Please return the statue. Restore a piece of your community, literally, figuratively, emotionally, mentally. Do the right thing, please. All right, that's done. Here's the show today.
Let me have it.
It's a big show today. At 2:25, former Kansas City Chiefs All-Pro safety Deron Cherry will talk to us.
DC!
Your boy.
I love it.
I think that's the reason he said yes, because I said your friend Jason Duda's on the show today, and he said he'd love to come on.
Well, there you go.
So we're calling him at 2:25 to talk Chiefs, who, if you haven't heard, maybe you have, play in the AFC Championship game this Sunday.
They're playing Sunday?
Yeah, this Sunday.
No.
That's correct.
Nobody around here knows that.
They're not playing Saturday because you don't want to have to compete with the Royal Rumble. And WWE is in its own dire straits at the moment.
What?
Which we don't even need to get into.
Okay, good.
If you want to find out about that, it's equally as disgusting as, probably more, than what we've been talking about already today.
Okay, we'll set up the show, then I want to come back to this now.
So yesterday, having to learn about that information and the statue theft, it was just kind of a disheartening day.
That's a rough day.
2:45, Jason has a game for me to play.
You betcha.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Did you bring in a good one?
Oh, it's a doozy.
I can't wait.
Oh, you can't.
Can you?
I need to.
You got 39 minutes to come up with something.
Oh,
or thereabouts.
Don't you worry about it, kid. It's all good.
You going to be ready?
Absolutely.
At 3 o'clock, we're going to do some props and picks. We might boot up the SimGen 2000. Is it still the 2000, or did we upgrade it?
We probably need to upgrade it because it's 2024 now.
Yeah, well, we don't have the newest version. We can't afford that.
No.
But
maybe 2001 version?
Maybe, 2005, something like that. At 3:25, Joanna Chadwick from Vipe Magazine will join us to talk high school sports, mainly girls' high school basketball tournament week. And we've got some good games on the docket around the state today. Heights against Topeka Washburn Rural.
Uh-huh.
That game's happening in Topeka. You've got Emporia Derby in Emporia. Carroll against Eisenhower Newton. Halstead against Circle. I assume that's a good game. I mean, they both won yesterday.
I would think so.
They're both capable of winning because they did it yesterday.
Well, that makes almost sense.
Yeah.
That it would.
And at 3:40, isn't this just a loaded show?
My mind's blown already.
345 questions.
With who?
With Jared Bruner. Who in the world?
Who's Brunsey?
Is Jared Bruner? I don't really know. But I was thinking, because when you're on the show, I like to have something sort of that relates to you, or I try to occasionally for 5 questions. I've sought out the people, the Chamber of Commerce people in Sexsmith or whoever we talked to that one day.
That was great.
That was beautiful. I tried to get your first coach, your first juniors coach, your second or whatever it was. He politely turned us down, which I still can't quite understand. Who doesn't have 10 minutes to spare for you?
Knowing Mooner, that doesn't surprise me.
And then yesterday I was looking at your other coaches and kind of stumbling around, but you didn't really play for anybody that long in juniors.
Who?
You.
No.
You didn't have 5-year stints with a certain coach or anything.
Well, no, because you're really, the most you can have is 5 years. So,
right, you didn't have that.
No. Started a little lower, then kind of jumped up for a 3 years, and then went back to the junior A level. Yeah, so I did bounce around a little bit.
That's, fantastic.
Kevin Dickey was my coach my overage year, my 20-year-old year in Melfort, Saskatchewan, coached Acadia, one of the biggest schools in Canada. Obviously, Lauren Mulliken when I was in Saskatoon.
Yeah, that's the guy we looked for.
You know,
found.
coached in the NHL for a few years. So, yeah, I had some good coaches back in the day.
So I went to, hey, is there a roller hockey scene here in Wichita? And there sort of is. There's a roller hockey group on Facebook. There's about 350 people in it, maybe.
Well, that's quite a few.
And one of the people, it seemed like the leader, from what I was gathering, just based on the communication within that group's page, Jared Bruner. You know him?
I can't say I do.
He's a roller hockey guy.
Well, there you go.
And he founded or created or built the Concrete Pond Inline Hockey Rink.
Where's that at? Do you know?
Yeah. It's
offhand? I mean, this is something I'm throwing at you that I'm guessing you probably don't, but I'm sure a man of your abilities could figure it out in a hurry.
Why do I have to...
What?
I think it's on... Is there an East McLean? Because that's what I seem to remember.
East McLean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right? I don't either.
I don't know.
But talk for a second while I look this up.
What am I supposed to talk about? You guys haven't figured this out yet?
I'm
more of a, you guys bring something up, I'll throw my opinion in there, and then let's move on. That's kind of how it works, this show.
That is how it works.
It doesn't. What do you think of the Oilers' 15-game win streak, Jason? My Oilers.
15 games won 15 in a row?
15 in a row. Beat the Blackhawks last night 3-0. Connor McDavid with 2 goals. And the funny thing with the Oilers was they started out this year like 2-8. Everybody was wondering back home. I mean, I talked to obviously some friends and stuff back home. They're like, I don't know what's going on with the Oilers. I mean, they were supposed to be one of the favorites this year. And just give them some time. Then they reel off 15 in a row. I think they don't play tonight. I think they play tomorrow night again. So see if they can get to 16. But it's one of the longest win streaks in NHL history.
Well, that's amazing.
It is.
Who, Connor McDavid?
Good player.
He's still out there doing it?
He reminds me of myself, but different.
Quite a bit different.
Heavy on the different. Heavy.
I mean, you both played hockey.
That's what I said. Reminds me of myself.
You have more in common than I have in common.
But different.
But I'm younger than you.
You're closer to his age
Closer
than
to
I
his
am.
age. That does help. Mac's always trying to wrench hockey into the show. We don't have time for that.
Why not?
Because you don't watch hockey. I don't watch hockey. Max, do you watch hockey?
I keep tabs on that stuff.
When it's on, I'll watch it.
How are my Predators doing this year? Next year I might, because this year was the Pacers, right? I got to get going with the Pacers for at least a year, and then I'll obviously be entrenched with the Indiana Pacers.
And then you'll decide if you're going to stick with them.
No, I'm sticking with them. I'm just saying I don't have time to ingratiate myself with 2 different teams in the same year. The Pacers are my basketball team. Moving forward from this day on, I will not have another favorite basketball team. It'll just be the Pacers.
Well, there you go.
Never change. We'll see. But maybe next year I get going with the Preds.
Well, they're 26-21 this year, so they're not in bad shape.
They're doing okay. Do they have any players?
Well, man, that's a good question. Most of their players that I knew when I was watching a little bit more, they had Subban there for a while, and then, of course, they had Fisher.
Of course, we had Fisher.
I mean,
we got Philip Forsberg,
who's still a pretty good player.
Still a pretty good guy at his age. He is leading the team in scoring.
They got Ryan O'Reilly, who's
we like
a good
him,
player.
the centerman.
You're so smart.
They have a few decent centermen. Roman Josi, Gustav Nyquist. Those are all guys.
Those are all your guys?
Well, maybe. But it's going to be tough to be trying to follow an NHL team and an NBA team at the same time.
Yeah, it might be a little too much for you.
Well, it's hard because they probably play a lot of the same days. For example,
there's a good chance that is probably true.
For example, they don't both play tonight. The Pacers play tonight. The Preds play tomorrow against against, Jason.
Who?
The Edmonton Oilers.
Uh-oh.
The streak is on the line tomorrow.
And you had to bring up Nashville, and they happen to play Edmonton tomorrow.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, that is the kiss of death to the Oilers.
You think so?
I honestly do.
Why?
Because you brought it up knowing nothing about hockey, picking a team out of nowhere.
Not really out of
and they're
nowhere.
going to be the ones that crack this win streak of the Edmonton Oilers at 15.
What if they are?
If they are, you might get a beating next week.
The Preds are 26 and 21, like you said. They don't have any kind of streak going. They have won one in a row, but they lost the two before that. Win, loss, win, win, loss, win, loss, win. They don't have anything. No, Jason, momentum.
Zero big
So
mo.
anything can happen.
Very true.
From day to day with them, Edmonton just going to keep winning. That game's at 3 o'clock tomorrow. You want to get together and watch it?
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
It's on BSSO.
Oh, yeah. Guaranteed.
Valley Sports something.
That's because ESPN has hockey, and they never show any on network TV, ever.
The only good thing, I have watched a bit of the Oilers this year because on Hulu, they'll show a lot of the late games. So a lot of times when I'm getting ready to hit the wrapper, I'll watch a bit of hockey before I
wrapper?
go to sleep. Yeah, the wrapper.
What is that?
Bed.
I know what it is, but what does that mean? What does it come
Wrapped
from?
up in the blankets.
Okay.
You're in the wrapper.
Do you wrap up in blankets?
You didn't know that? That's all we
I've
used
never
to
heard,
say.
I've
back
never
home.
heard that term before.
I'm
to
going
be
to
honest.
the wrapper.
Are you a wrap
See you
up?
tomorrow.
Are you a wrap up guy?
Nah, not really. Kind of. I don't know.
Side sleeper?
Yep.
Right side?
Either side.
Yeah, me too.
Mostly my left because my right shoulder is a mess.
Yeah,
So I
I've
can't-
noticed you
I can't sleep.
favoring it.
Can't sleep on the right side a lot.
My left shoulder isn't a mess, but it hurts more when I'm on that side. So I tend to go to the right side, facing out.
But your strong side's the left side.
Maybe.
Well, have you ever seen Remember the Titans?
Yes, I've seen Remember the Titans.
Strong side.
Left side.
Good to see. There you go. You're figuring it out.
Do you face outward or inward?
Oh, my
I'm going to keep having this conversation with you.
That would be...
So do you have a particular side of the bed is what I'm asking.
yeah, so that'd be outward.
Okay, so you sleep on the right side of the bed.
If you're standing at the foot of the bed. If you're standing at the head of the bed, then I sleep on the left side.
Right, but if nobody stands at the head of the bed.
Not usually.
Because there's a headboard, I assume.
There is.
Can't really get behind that.
No.
It's against the wall.
Yeah, and
All right.
I'm not fitting back there.
I don't think anybody is. We're going to talk Chiefs, Ravens. We're going to talk Lions, 49ers. There is one boys game today that you can ask Joanna about. It's a Mays at Hutch. Your Mays boys are playing today.
I know they're going to Hutch.
Are you going to that game?
No, but my daughter manages the boys team, so she goes to all the games.
She has to be there.
She doesn't have a choice.
Wait, so she's a manager, and we don't need to rehash the Dodge City thing, but she didn't get to go to those games?
No.
That's crazy.
Was a scheduling conflict. Let's just leave it at that.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, she was disappointed, and in all honesty, I was kind of disappointed for her.
We all were.
Her and the other girl that managed the team, they were looking forward to going. They were going to get their own hotel room, and who knows. But it didn't happen, so it's all good.
I still haven't found out where the hockey rink is.
Where?
I don't know. I saw it yesterday.
You know what? Well, I bet you at 3:40 we'll figure it out.
I know, but I want to know before because I swear it said something about East McLean. But I've since
where is East McLean?
I've since received a text that maybe that's crazy.
Is that what the text said to you? That you're crazy?
No, it said East McLean with about 12 question marks.
Well, that's kind of what Max and I are thinking here, but could be wrong.
I don't have the answer to the question.
Well, I've been wrong before, and I can admit I'm wrong, unlike yourself.
I'm not
thought
wrong.
You were wrong once.
No, I'm not trying to say I'm wrong. Yeah, this doesn't. Okay.
Oh my! Seriously, why don't you wait till the break?
Because I want to get to the bottom of this.
You're so. This is you in a nutshell, right? You got to do it now
That's
instead of
correct.
waiting 2 minutes when we go to break and then figuring
Well,
it
we
out.
have a guest, then we have a game, then we have stuff we got to get taken care of, then we have a guest, then we have 5 questions. But if we don't we don't find out, we won't find out. I'm putting the phone down, and we're going to take a break right now.
Good job.
Does that work?
Well,
That's
up to Max. Max is in control of that. I know my boundaries here. Sounds like he's in control of that.
There's no East McLean. McLean, in fact, runs north and south.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was asking East McLean, and you got a text with people saying, "Are you an idiot?"
I don't know these things.
You don't know McLean runs north, south?
If you like put a gun to my head,
yeah,
I could probably come up with that, but I don't just know, right?
Sure.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and talk with Deron Cherry, former Chiefs Pro Bowler, All-Pro, 1980s All-Decade team. He was the Man of the Year once. He's in the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame, and so I think he's credible.
I would say so.
We'll talk to him next about the Chiefs. Max Power, our producer and engineer, takes us to break. Jason Duda is here. It's Bob and Jeff on KFH.
How powerful is Cox Fiber? Powerful enough to keep fans across the country in the action on the biggest game days of the year. Whether you're one of 65,000 fans at Allegiant Stadium or you're streaming the game at home with Cox Fiber from the company with America's fastest download speeds. Whenever it matters most, Cox keeps you connected. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data. Fixed median download speeds. US Q3 2023.
KFH.
And we are happy to be joined by the aforementioned Deron Cherry, Chiefs Hall of Famer, five-time All-Pro safety for the Chiefs between 1981 and 91. Deron, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
We are doing well. We appreciate your time this afternoon. So I think Jason and I'm pretty sure when we made our picks yesterday that we went the over, maybe suggesting that this game between Baltimore and the Chiefs could be a shootout, high-scoring game. We know it's going to be probably rainy over in Baltimore. Was that a crazy pick? Do you see this game as a high-powered offensive game?
No, you got two good defenses. Unless something changes, I don't see it as, I see some explosive plays, but I don't see like a really, really crazy score, from both of these offenses. I think the defenses are too good. So that's what I would say.
DC, how are you doing? I didn't get to see you this summer. I was gone a lot of the summer. How was the golf game going?
Oh, man, I came down there and I was looking for you. I had my wife with me and we were playing. I said, "Where's my man at?" They go, "He's not around." I'm going like, oh, boy.
I know. I spent a lot of time back home this summer. I do apologize, but I'll get you next year.
Okay, good.
Happy days. Hey, is this going to be one of those games, it's supposed to rain all day? Is it just going to be more of a running contest? And I think the Chiefs have to run the ball and control some of the clock in order to win this game. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. They're going to have to run. Both teams are going to have to run. I mean, that's the way you kind of keep the defenses honest and keep them off balance. But, Kansas City likes to throw the ball, and I don't see, where it's going to be any different. Even if it is raining, they're going to attempt to throw the ball and move it down the field and pick up some big plays. In a game like that where the weather is supposed to be a little bit inclement, it really boils down to, who can hold on to the football, and, turnovers are going to play a big part in field position. So, in these games, that's why I don't expect it to be, just this crazy – run and gun offenses up and down the field, because if the conditions are bad, it's going to really be an advantage for the team that can run the ball, control it on the ground, and not turn the ball over.
Talking with Chiefs Hall of Famer Deron Cherry. Chiefs, of course, play in the AFC Championship game in Baltimore on Sunday. So as a former defensive back, particularly a safety, is that the side of the ball you watch maybe more intently? Is there a particular way you watch the game, certain things you look for? Certainly these secondaries for Baltimore and Kansas City, very good. You have L'Jarius Sneed as a cornerback on one side, Kyle Hamilton, maybe the best safety in football for Baltimore. So are those a couple guys you might have your eye on?
Yeah, I'll look at the secondary guys, but, to me, the main battle is the guys that are up front. And I like to look at the guys on the line of scrimmage because really in games like this, that's where the game is won. It's won in the trenches. Can these guys hold up in the trenches? Can the big guys, can they move the pile? Can they protect the quarterback? That's the game that I'm kind of looking at from my perspective. And, yeah, I mean, you get to see, what the defensive backs do, especially if you're watching it at home, you get to see the replays so you can kind of look at, what kind of coverage they're in and what they're doing. But mainly for me, I'm looking at those guys up front and see who's handling one side or the other, see who's getting the pass rush on the quarterback, their rushing lanes, are they, have the right gap responsibility. I mean, you can see a lot in that front seven that really determines over the long haul what the outcome of the game is going to be.
Deron, when you're facing a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, obviously it's probably a lot different than a lot of teams you face. Do you put a spy on it? And if you do put a spy on him, how much difference does that make for everybody else around you on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, if you put a spy, which you'll probably wind up doing, you got to have somebody that can run and has got good athletic ability to be able to, to bring him down because let's face it, he's fast. He's very athletic, so you got to have somebody that can match his ability. But I think what it does is it creates a scenario up front where your front four guys, are able to rush him the way they want to rush him without having to worry about, being out of a lane or a zone because they know that they have a spy sitting there that could probably cover up for any mistake that they make. That's why you use a spy on a quarterback that likes to run like him that can make big plays. So, it's going to be hard. I mean, I think they got a little taste of what, a running quarterback was last week in Buffalo with Josh Allen. But this guy is much more dangerous. He's much more elusive and a lot faster. And I think what this team has to do is anytime he starts to run and gets out in the open, you're going to have to take your shots and make sure that he pays the price for running, and in that way, maybe he'll think twice about doing that.
Chiefs great, Deron Cherry, our guest. So yeah, what was like for you back when you played? And not that it's that long ago. Jason and I were both alive for your career and saw a lot of it. So what made a challenging quarterback day for you? Because you could hit the quarterback more. But, a guy like Lamar Jackson wouldn't have been allowed to exist, right? They would have probably put him somewhere else, unfortunately. But so what made a tough day from the quarterback position for a defense?
Well, for a defense, a tough day with a quarterback that is a quarterback that has the ability to sit in the pocket but has the ability to escape the pocket, and then he's a dual threat, right? He can either run, beat you with his legs, or hurt you with his arm. And, it brings to mind a guy like a John Elway, right? That, when he was early on in his career, he'd take off and run. But if you weren't careful and you abandoned your receiver before he got across the line of scrimmage, he had the ability to throw the ball deep and beat you for big plays. And that's what Lamar brings to this Baltimore offense. He can hurt you with his legs, but he's also looking downfield to make a big play in the throwing game, and that causes you some concern. So as a secondary, you have to always be mindful that when he starts to scramble, you got to go find a receiver and latch on to him. You're not going to make the play from your position. You got to rely on the rest of your teammates, but you got to make sure you cover up a guy that's in your area, because if you don't, he can easily throw the ball and make a big play. And, it's those kinds of plays in a game like this that could make the difference.
On the offensive side, the Chiefs have kind of struggled a little bit, I guess you'd have to say, compared to years past. it looks like right now the only weapons that they really have that they're using, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, and then Pacheco out of the backfield. Do you see anybody else possibly stepping up in this game? Because Baltimore does have a pretty salty defense.
Yeah, they do. I see Scantlin could potentially be a game changer if he can get past those guys down the field. They do have to be concerned about Rashee Rice and of course, Travis Kelce. But I think there's other guys that can hurt you. I think Watson can get open. I think, out of the backfield, of course, Pacheco, but then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like last week, we used him and, he had a big day. He made some big plays for this offense. So, and he seems like when he's played against Baltimore in the past, he's had a good game. So, I mean, they're going to utilize all their weapons. And here's the thing, Andy Reid is tremendous when it comes to creating mismatches and making sure that the defense, has to play it honest sometimes. And, the other thing that's the X factor in this whole thing is, you got a quarterback sitting behind the center in Patrick Mahomes that's capable of making a lot of plays, not just with his arm, but with his legs too as well. So they have to guard against that too. So it really is a balanced type of deal. You got two explosive offenses, two incredible quarterbacks that are both MVPs, that'll probably have multiple MVPs, considering Lamar is the leading candidate to win this year. So I would say, from an offensive standpoint, they both have a lot of concerns that they have to be concerned about on the defensive side to stop these two offenses.
Talk with former Chiefs safety Deron Cherry, played with the Chiefs from 1981 to 1991. So I was looking at some of your numbers here, and you played at basically the same time as Ronnie Lott. You broke in the same year. What did you think of him? Because he obviously got a lot of attention. And then I went to your numbers against the 49ers, your personal numbers, and they're one of the few teams you never had an interception against. Obviously, that was Joe Montana, maybe Steve Young in the later part of that. Is that a hole in your resume, in your opinion, that you never got to pick one of those guys off?
Well, you would like to pick those guys off, but the problem is that we were in a different conference.
Yeah, you only played 3 games.
We only played them 3 times, so we really didn't get an opportunity to play, that conference a lot. You're playing one division in that conference every year based on how you finish your schedule. It was a lot different than it is now. So you really didn't get an opportunity to face those guys. We had to face the Dan Foutses, the Dan Marinos of the world for the most part in our division. John Elway and those guys, because of the AFC West, we played twice a year, and then you sprinkle in some of those other teams we had to play, Pittsburgh and the Jets and the Giants and some of those guys that you didn't play too often. So those opportunities to play against some of those quarterbacks like a Joe Montana on a regular basis, where you really don't get opportunities in games sometimes to pick them off or whatever, or sack them. So I don't think it's a hole in my resume. I think, if I look at my resume compared to, anybody else that played in the secondary, I mean, I'll put mine up against anybody, considering what I had to go through here in Kansas City with, the coaching changes, the different defensive systems. I wish I could have played in one system my whole career,
right,
like a lot, and been able to, excel in just one system. But shoot, there was a period of 7 years straight where, I was learning a different defensive system every year, but I was still able to, put up numbers, adapting to those different changes in coaches and systems, and still put up numbers that I think are, representative of, the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. I completely agree. So you had one interception return for a touchdown. How much do you remember about that? The quarterback, the time, the team, how much of that sticks in your memory?
That was a Pittsburgh game.
Yes.
We played them in Kansas City, and I was reading the quarterback and made a great break on the ball, and he never saw me. That's the thing. He never saw me. I came out of nowhere, picked it off, and ran it for a touchdown. So, I mean, I had 53 total. If you can,
which is amazing.
You count up the ones in the playoffs. I had 3 in the playoffs, but shoot, I had probably another 6 or 7 throughout my career, but they got called back because guys like Mike Bell, a Wichita guy, Bell would jump off sides and on a hard count, and I'd pick the pass off, and it was no good, so it didn't count. So I always get on him. He goes, D, you would have had 6 or 7 more interceptions if it wasn't for me jumping off sides. I go, yeah, Boogie, you would have.
Deron, I was just going to ask you real quick about the other side, San Francisco, Detroit. I don't know how close you've been keeping an eye on that, but I'm guessing you have. And what do you think of those two teams, and who do you think wins that game? Detroit's obviously been a great story this year.
Yeah, they have been a great story. I mean, I give Dan Campbell a lot of credit for the culture change that he instilled in the Detroit Lions, top to bottom, and they're having tremendous success, and it's great to see that, because Detroit was, for years and years and years was just, the doormat of a team, and really never could get out of their way, and he's brought a culture there that is entirely different, and the players have rallied around him. His quarterback is playing extremely well, and he's got some weapons, receiver-wise and running back-wise, that, they've got some talent. And then defensively, they get the job done. They got some guys that can put some pressure on you. So they played well. But they're coming up against a real good 49ers team that is stacked defensively, from the front to the back. Their offense is very explosive, with McCaffrey there, who's an MVP candidate. Brock Purdy does enough to, not lose the game. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles the pressure of a championship game. He got injured last year in Philadelphia and couldn't play. So this is an opportunity for him to redeem itself, and for 2 years. Yeah, I think it was last year, in Philly. But, I look at this game that, I just find it hard for Detroit. Not that I don't give them a chance, but they're playing in San Francisco, and that's going to be tough out there with those guys, knowing that they're one step away from getting back to the Super Bowl, and the fact that they lost a few years ago to the Chiefs, has kind of left a bad taste. And for those guys that were there during that time, that feeling never goes away, and you want to get back there to take that feeling away. So I like the 49ers in this game. I think they've got the weapons. Their coach is really good in big games, and but I wouldn't say that Detroit could be out of it, considering I think that Jared Goff could have a big game and have a big say-so in the outcome of that game.
Deron, we really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us again. You've become a friend of our show, obviously a friend of Jason's. I know you'll be pulling for the Chiefs on Sunday, so good luck and enjoy watching that one.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Jay,
Thanks a lot.
I'll see you soon, buddy.
Hey, sounds good. Look forward to it, my friend.
All right.
Thanks. There you go. There's your buddy.
He's just a good guy.
Breaking it down for us.
Just a good guy, obviously knows his stuff.
No
Chiefs,
question.
San Francisco, according to Deron Cherry, it sounds like.
Well, I believe it.
No, I can see it. I honestly can see any four of these teams winning and getting to the Super Bowl.
Anything can happen in one game.
Absolutely it can, but the matchups are good. I know that San Francisco's a 7-point favorite over Detroit, but if Debo doesn't play, that's going to hurt San Francisco. Detroit's going to jump in there. And in Kansas City, you're going into Baltimore. Baltimore's favorite. Everybody's all over Baltimore because they've been playing so well. But you got Patrick Mahomes on the other side.
He's pretty good.
The guy can win anytime, anywhere. So it should be fun. It should be a great Sunday to watch a couple games.
You ready to play a game? Oh, wow.
There it is.
Forgot about that.
Time to play the game.
All right, Jeff.
All right. Jason.
Last time I did anything like this, we did states, and I was going to do capitals and everything, and you got everyone right. So I figured
I know all the states and capitals.
I figured I needed to get a little deeper in this. So I am going to ask you U.S. states by date of admission.
Oh, my God.
To the Union. Now, I don't need the date, but I want the year. And see if you can get close to that.
Okay, well, I know Delaware was first.
I was just going to say, who was the first state?
Delaware.
And do you know what year that was in?
I sure don't. 1789.
Close. 1787.
Yeah, that makes sense after the Constitution. Well,
But
I'm an idiot.
I will ask you a bonus question on each state.
Okay.
And of course, because it's me, it's going to be relative to food.
I'm going to be very bad at this game.
Well, this is going to be tough. There's no question about it. Yeah, I mean,
like impossibly bad. If I get one within like 10 years.
No. This is just I'm going to what is Delaware's official dessert?
Boston cream pie.
It is a pie, but it's not the Boston
Key lime
cream pie.
That'd be Florida. Cherry pie.
No, I don't think you'll get this one because I would have assumed this was a different state.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Peach pie.
Peach pie.
Who'd have thunk it?
Not me. That seems like more of a Georgia thing.
All right. How about Kentucky? When did they become?
Kentucky was not long after. I don't think it was an original colony. I don't believe that it was. It was a southern state. Kentucky would obviously be before the Civil War, I think. I mean, this may be all crazy. Probably long before the Civil War. So I'm going to say...
it wasn't too long after Delaware, which was in 1787.
I was going to say 1811, so I'll just stick with that.
You're off.
Okay.
1792.
Yeah.
And if you can get within 7 years, I will give you the win.
So that wasn't one.
Okay, so what is the official fruit of Kentucky?
The Kentucky peach.
No, it's not going to be peach.
I don't know.
And so I'm not going to go to Georgia because you'll know that one.
Kentucky's fruit is the pomegranate.
No.
I don't know.
The blackberry.
Okay.
All right.
Man, this is tough.
Yeah, it's not easy.
You did not give me
This
anything.
is like a game you give me.
Maybe, but not really.
Okay, how about this one? Who's the last state?
Well, it's either Alaska or Hawaii. I believe Hawaii was the last state.
You are correct. Do you know what year that was in?
1950. I want to say 1956.
That's what you want to say, or are you going to say it?
I guess I'm not going to say.
Oh, you're not?
1959.
You are correct. 1959, Hawaii was the last state. Now, you're not going to... Now, if you think of a food from Hawaii, what would you think of?
Kiwi.
Comes in a can.
Anchovies.
Spam.
Okay.
Spam.
Yeah, I did not know that Spam originated in Hawaii. I don't know a lot of things.
You know what the actual only official food of Hawaii is, though?
Bacon.
You're never going to get this.
You're
never going to get the coconut muffin.
That sounds horrible.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think I like coconut.
I do not.
No?
No. But I had some coconut flavoring in something we made for dinner over the past week. It wasn't bad.
Really?
They were curry noodles.
Curry noodles?
Yeah, they had some coconut in them.
Oh, well, there you go.
We signed up for one of those things where they send you the meals and you make them.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
We've done that. It's actually, I kind of had fun with it.
I think it's fun also. I enjoy it.
Something different, and it was already there, and it was done. Like, we
got to prepare ours, which
oh no, we got to prepare it, but it gives you the
all
ingredients
and the
everything
recipes
there and the recipe, and you follow it. and you make stuff that you probably normally wouldn't make.
That's correct.
I actually quite enjoyed that, to tell you the truth.
Why'd you stop?
Because when you sign up for some of those things, it's really cheap to start with.
Yeah.
And then they bump the prices on you. So then it's almost not worth it. So you go to the store and you can buy more stuff.
Does
that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
But I've kept a lot of recipes from them, and I still make them over again. See what I'm saying?
That's a good idea.
Well, I'm smarter than I look.
Well,
Jeffrey.
we have done that too. My wife would think of that, obviously. That's not something I would ever care about. But
no,
we have done it.
That's true. All right. How about Arizona?
Arizona was a late state, probably.
Yes, you are correct.
I don't think it got into the 1900s. That would be my first thing. But I don't think it was in the first half of the 19th century either. So I'm going to say Arizona came along in 1873.
A little off. 1912.
That long?
1912.
That recent?
I know. That's what I thought too, looking at this. This is why I found some of this kind of interesting, to tell you the truth. Like, I didn't realize it was 59 for a couple states and then 1912 for a couple others.
That's crazy.
Okay.
I'll do one more, and then we'll take a break and then reevaluate.
Okay.
No food question on Arizona?
Yeah, here it's coming. So, people have actually petitioned to have this Arizona's state food.
Chips and salsa.
No, but you're on the right path.
Enchiladas.
Ooh, now you're getting closer.
Burritos. Chimichanga.
You are correct. Chimichanga.
I don't think I've ever had a chimichanga. If you ask
Isn't that basically the same as like a big burrito?
I think
it's fried, deep fried.
But fried.
Deep fried it.
Right. It's the same thing, but fried.
I think all Mexican food is relatively similar.
In some ways, but I mean, a fried tortilla
meat, cheese,
is a little
tortilla,
different.
Meat, cheese, tortilla, and whatever else you want of vegetables, anything, which is what makes Mexican food amazing.
Very true.
All right, we taking a break?
Okay. You want to take a break? Or you want one more?
One more state.
You want one more state?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how can't we do this one? Kansas. I mean, it's Kansas.
It's Kansas Day coming up.
Ooh, I got him.
It's in the 1860s or 70s.
Okay, you are correct.
And I think it's 1869.
You are not within 7. You want to try again? I'll give you another shot.
So it's in the 1870s.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Well, it's not 1861 or before, I don't think. So it must be in the 18. And I knew you'd ask me this. And the first number.
I thought you'd have popped that up on your computer.
And the first number that came to mind when I thought you would ask it was 1878.
You are incorrect. It's 1861.
Gah!
Yeah, you talked yourself right out of it.
Gah! I'm the worst. That's embarrassing.
Although Kansas hasn't proclaimed an official food, it's
Good.
commonly associated with the sunflower state.
Duh.
So, what is the perception of
sunflower seeds?
No, barbecued ribs.
Okay, cool.
There you have it.
There are no other kind of ribs.
Not really.
There shouldn't be.
There's no need for.
I wouldn't say there is at
No,
all.
there isn't.
All right, we'll take a break right now. We'll come back and do that or something else. That work for you?
Works for me.
There's Michelle Steele on television from Arrowhead Stadium for some reason. All right, stay with us. Hour number 2 coming up. Bob and Jeff on KFH.
How powerful is Cox Internet? Powerful enough to keep fans across the country in the action on the biggest game days of the year. Whether you're one of 65,000 fans at Allegiant Stadium or you're streaming the game at home with America's fastest download speeds powered by fiber. Whenever it matters most, Cox keeps you connected. Cox Internet is connected to the premises via coaxial connection. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data. Fixed median download speeds. US Q3 2023.